So, obviously taking a look at this special teams unit, the areas of necessary improvement, what do you identify as sort of the biggest ones?
Well, I think that what we're trying to pay attention to now is take an unfortunate situation and we got to tighten it up and make it be a little bit better. And it's unfortunate what ended up taking place with Coach Christian, and feel bad for that. We've all got a job that we want to get done, and so that's the attack. We feel like we've got a lot of good things that we've been close to accomplishing, but close doesn't do a whole lot for you. Okay, so we want to get it over the edge, and that's been the hammer that we've hit with all phases of our football team. Okay, and so there's a group of us that are gonna, we're gonna pay attention to try to help make that be a better at finishing. So we've been so damn close finishing and making plays, the plays that help us win the damn games. And it wasn't like it hadn't been done before, and wasn't like any of those things that meant to be done. So it's a matter of grinding it and grilling it and finding some tweaks that can help make things be a little bit better. If that makes sense. Answer your question?
Yeah, and Coach Bray has mentioned too that you're somebody that, as a younger head coach, he's leaned on and talked to a lot over these last, couple of years, and then obviously these tough first few weeks. What has been sort of some of the things that you've shared with him to kind of keep him steady during a really difficult time?
Well, I think Coach Bray's got a great way about it, and that's the thing. I feel sick, and I think everybody feels sick, for the situation we're in. But I feel bad for him because the work that he's put into this, and the way you look at the way that our players respond to him and the respect that they've got for him, and it goes throughout the whole building and our coaches and everybody. And I think probably this community, in the grand scheme of things, I know everybody wants to win. That's what we're supposed to do. That's the case, and so that's a burning situation, and so yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff and those types of deals, and there's times I'll share a story that happened to me, and but it doesn't matter what happened to me. This is the team that we got to get rolling, and I think Coach Bray's doing a great job of keeping the focus where it needs to, and there's a lot of outside noise that I think he does a real good job of getting deflected, so our guys can try to pay attention to what the close things are that are going to get us over the edge, and so those are the things we go. But it's it's not like he needs my tail, to tell him anything. I like to hope the conversations we have are good ones, but it's all guided towards trying to make that next step and finish.
When you first took this job to be the special assistant, did you envision yourself, taking on a role like this at all, or what's kind of the last week been like for you?
Well, nobody wants to be in this scenario. This happened because a good man had to leave, and so that's not something that anybody wants to have to deal with. So no, absolutely not. I was excited to be here, and getting here, been really excited to be here. I like the people here. I like our place here, and that's what the deal has been. And the whole focus in coming here was to see if I could play a role in helping this be better. And any role that I can play for Coach Bray and our players is what I'm excited to be able to do, and I want to be able to do. But that was my only focus coming in here. No, I never would have thought this would have had to happen.
You've coached special teams in the past, but it's been a while. What was kind of your previous experience? I know you did it at your alma mater and then also at Northern Arizona. Mm-hmm. What's it like, kind of getting back into it now?
Well, it's exciting, in that regard, and it's a portion of the game that I've always had a great passion for because it can influence the game in the quickest possible way. We want to make sure it influences in a positive way, in the quickest possible way. That's challenging to go, and that was always my desire when I was doing it at Weber and at NAU, and then as the head coach, I played a pretty good role in doing a lot of that stuff too, and and we as assistants, always play a role in the special teams in doing that, and it's so that's been, it's something that you maintain a passion for. You maintain a passion for the game. It's like I said, it's a great part of the game, and it's the quickest influencer to the game. We can make something happen now, and so therefore that's just the challenge moving forward.
Obviously, you said this is a change that nobody wanted to see for Coach Christian and everything, but do you feel like this change could have a positive impact on sort of the discipline and the focus among the guys in that unit to kind of get things reset like you're talking about.
Well, it doesn't matter, I don't think, what I feel. I think that's the situation that we all need to pay attention to, that we need to make that be the case. And, that's the attention that we all have for it and our players have for it. And, we want to see the sun come out in Corvallis again and the Beaver Nation be smiling again and having a good time doing what we love to do. And we're going to have a whole lot of fun when we get this thing turned.
Special teams is kind of a family affair here now. What's it like getting to work alongside your son in that role?
Well, that's been a cool deal. It really has. It's been fun watching Daniel grow through the process. He was over at Washington State for a lot, and he's worked the thing that's been good with having him, and that's part of the reason I think he got hired here to try to help, because he'd been on both sides of the ball. He was with me on defense at Central Michigan also, so he's been on both those phases, and and got introduced to the more focus on the special teams part of it, having more responsibilities there, and so I think it's been a good thing for him, and the opportunity you get to coach with your son is a pretty cool deal. It really is, and so that's something that we enjoy. We're gonna have a hell of a lot of fun as soon as we start winning these things, and so we look for that to happen soon.
As a dad and just as a guy who's been around football your whole life, what's it mean to you to get to work alongside of your son on the staff?
Well, it's absolutely awesome, and I hope I'm, giving him some things how he's going to form his own career and what he's going to do, and he's doing a great job of working his tail off in everything that we've asked for him to do, and he's going to have a little more responsibility of it now. He's got to make sure he keeps his old man in line.
You assisted with D-line stuff kind of, throughout the spring and into fall, and, obviously Will Haverland was a part of that group. Now he's your long snapper. What's it like watching a guy kind of pick that up after he did in high school and now do it at the D1 level? I
think it's pretty cool for Will, and I think the way Will's responded, he got thrown into a tough situation at the start, and wasn't, it was a tough scenario, your debut, but I think that says a lot for Will and his perseverance and his pride in righting the ship and making things be good, and I think he's got a whole lot of good stuff in front of him. He's a class kid, and he's working his tail off, and I think that's been awesome, to be honest with you.
There's obviously a lot of pressure, a lot of outside opinion on Coach Bray's status. When you talk about his relationship with the players, do you think that ability to connect with the players is, in this NIL era where rosters are changing all the time, is that connection maybe more important than ever?
Well, I think in coaching, that's who we are, if that makes sense what I'm saying to you. And that's the thing that I think is pretty awesome about Coach Bray, because he can command it, and he commands it from all phases of the game. Every guy on our football team has great respect, and they respond to him, and I think that's really cool. And our world has changed. Yes, the NIL is kind of taking care of where some guys go and where they play and things like that, and unfortunately, I think there's a lot of cases where you see that the dollar makes more of a difference sometimes than those things do. But I think when you got a guy that the players respect it the way they do, I think there's better opportunity for some of those guys to stay. And then, but you got the situation has changed in that, they're throwing a guy's got, maybe he comes from a situation at home that, a scholarship check doesn't take care of the family the way that a big check, for lack of a better term, takes care of things. And so sometimes those even override the relationship issues. But I think as a coach, we've got a great responsibility in regards to being, we're pops away from home. And that's the cool thing about Coach Bray is it's not just football. It's all the way around. I think that's something about our staff that is like that. Helping grow these guys up is something that I think is pretty important to us. There's a lot of families that have entrusted these guys with us, and we want to make sure we do right by that. And so when I say that, I think that's coaching, and that's what we need to do. And then we need to do the best we can guiding it through the NIL deal. And the dollar figure does factor into that, and that's just the way the world is right now, and we got to work with it. But I think if you're going to be a good coach, then you still go back to what the important thing is, and that's the relationships that you build and growing it that way, if that makes sense.
What's the biggest difference in modern special teams compared to what it was at Northern Arizona in the 90s?
it's still, a lot of, you're going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but a lot of it is still the same because the game is the game, all right? Now, there's things in the, the wheel keeps going round and round just like it does on offense and just like it does on defense. And it's the flavor of right now. And then, a lot of the place, it's a copycat world. So it transitions, and it has over time. When I remember back in the days when I was at Idaho, and Boise State was one of the first ones spreading everybody out and doing the rugby stuff, and creating all those formations, all the stuff all over the place. It hadn't been like that before. Now, well, shit, that's the norm now. Excuse me, that's the norm now. Okay, and that's the way people are going at. But we naturally transition the game that way. You go back in the day, the wishbone. And the option, that was college football. And then the ball started getting thrown around. Some people we all know pretty good, Coach Price, Coach Erickson, they got built up here in the Northwest and that kind of stuff. And then it started getting spread out. But now you also see it, you got these quarterbacks running the ball again. Well, it's the option coming back in a lot of ways. So I'm getting long-winded on you there, but it all goes round and round, and I think the special teams are the same way. But the fundamentals and the things you got to work to do to impact the game, or you got to still be able to focus on it in that fashion, if that makes sense.
Go last question.
Yeah, when you step into a position, right, that needs immediate change, immediate fix, immediate answers, do you feel like that adds a little extra pressure to your job, or do you feel like, okay, I'm built for this, I'm the right one to get this thing turned around?
Well, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I don't know if people realize all the time. There's no way in the world that the outside world can put any more pressure on us than we already put on ourselves. If we've got a great nation out there that wants to see us win. Well, that's our lives too. And we live it, and it's our lives all day, every day, and it affects our families and everybody we know and all that kind of stuff. So I don't look at it as being pressure. That's expectation, and that's our expectation of what we do. And our expectation is how we, as a Beaver family, are going to go about making it happen. Robb Akey ain't going to make the difference. This is Coach Bray's football team, but it's our football team, and that's where us bound together and paying attention to finishing. We've been so damn close in the last few weeks, and close don't mean a damn thing. I understand that. We understand that more than anything. It drives us more crazy than anybody could even imagine, because we see it as it's happening. And you see the things are. And watching these guys and the pain that's in their eyes because they're working their tails off. And it's not easy to be in the situation they are right now because they're working their asses off, and the finish hasn't happened yet. And when it's closer, that makes it taste even worse, if that makes sense what I'm saying. And so we want it to happen for them. Let's go back to why we do what we do. We want it to happen. We want to see them be smiling when they come off the field again. My family might like it when I come home and see me smile again. I don't know. The dogs still talk to me, so I think that's a good thing. But we've felt the same way, about paying attention to what we pay attention to from the beginning, from when we were in training camp. And what we were over the summer getting prepared for this thing. So I don't know if that makes sense. If I've answered your question, I just gave you a whole bunch of words there or not. But, we're going to do this together, but we're going to do it because we are all doing it together. And more importantly, because our players are going to finish. And that's where I've got a lot of respect for them, because they're coming in here and they're grinding, and they're not doing this and they're not doing this. They're listening, finding a way to work to finish. And that's how you keep pounding. Is you bang yourself, and all of a sudden you're through the door, and then the good things will start to flow. Gasoline gets up there on the fire, and it's going to start to happen, and it's going to be a lot of fun as that takes place. And so we've got to be persistent about that right now. And so that's the responsibility that we have, but it's all of us, to help guide them through it, and us keep our focus on it too, to get through the mess. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and the Beaver people are going to be happy again.
All right, thanks, Coach.
You guys have been getting better pressure on the quarterback over the last few weeks. What do you feel like has changed in allowing you to do that?
Just constant work and practice, working on moves, working on movements, just trying to find a way to get to the quarterback, truthfully.
In looking at this defense, obviously, there are still areas that you want to get better. What is standing out to you in terms of areas of improvement?
Everyone's energy, everybody's coming together, communicating, just trying to go hit somebody for real. Just be physical, do your job, energy. So
I asked Court about him too. Aiden Sullivan had has had a big year. You know, what can you say about that?
I say he definitely is one of them energy bringers. He brings it to the table for sure. He just, he don't care. He just go do his job and go hit somebody for sure.
We asked Court about it as well, but what's the reaction like when Aiden comes downhill and blows up that back to force that safety?
It's like, it's like damn. Like it's fun to see, truthfully.
Because you guys see that in practice
Oh, yeah.
pretty much every day, right?
Oh yeah.
You're a high energy, positive guy. How have you dealt with what's been a difficult few weeks around the program? How have you approached that?
Just learns. Every game we lose is a lesson. L is a lesson. That's something we learn from. Just next game mentality. How can we get better this week? What can we do to improve this week? Just finding any way to get better in some category.
With where the team is at right now, like, how do you maintain goals? Like, what are the goals from here to the end of the year?
Just to finish the year off strong. Everybody just do their job, do their role, do what you're supposed to do on and off the field, and get dubs.
Is there still belief that this year can have a positive ending?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think we're coming close. Like I think people think we're going further away. I think we're coming closer, truthfully. But you'll see it on the field. We're going to turn it around for sure.
Can you explain that a little bit more? What is it that you see
Like-
on that day-to-day?
I feel like everybody's starting to communicate a little better. Like everybody's like bringing each other up instead of like talking each other down. We're trying to stay positive. Anyway, say something positive to a brother. Like anything you do, just try to uplift them. Don't beat them down.
You mentioned kind of every kind of loss has been kind of a lesson. What's, I guess, the lesson going into this week, prepping for Wake Forest?
Just do your job. Play hard. Do your job. Know your role. Play at 110%.
What are kind of some of the challenges you guys have seen that you guys think Wake wants to throw at you guys this weekend? What are you guys really prepping for?
Just prepping for everything. Anything they throw at us, we're trying to find a way to be ready for it. Like, just gotta stay ready regardless of what they do, how they do it. Just gotta be ready.
You were back this weekend, but memory serves you missed the previous game. What were you dealing with? And kind
Just
of
a little nicked up. Nothing crazy. It was just a little nicked up.
doing all right now. Though?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
First one of these for you, I guess. So just kind of, what's your experience been like so far here at Oregon State, and what's it been like lately?
Yeah, it's been great. I've been here this is my 4th year now, but really my first season playing. Redshirted my first year, had 2 season-ending injuries the 2 after that, and so this is my first year actually getting out on the field, so that's been great, and the other years have also been great.
What were your injuries?
I had a meniscus last season and then a labrum the year before.
Gotcha. Those are both pretty big ones. What's the road to recovery like on that? And,
They were both about 6 to 8 month recoveries. Yeah.
Just your thoughts on the young guys that have stepped up in the linebacker room this year.
I think they've done great. Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of different guys going in. I think everyone's doing a great job.
Aiden in particular.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him, and what can you say about him as a teammate?
Yeah, I think Aiden's a great teammate, and every time he's on the field, he's giving 100%, and I think that's really easy to notice. He's flying around making plays, so.
Is that sort of infectious, the energy that?
For sure, yeah.
what's the sideline reaction like when he, blows up that run and knocks the ball loose?
Oh, everyone's excited. I mean, he's a big-time player, makes big-time plays, and everybody's fired up when he makes a play.
You go through this kind of a lengthy process to see the field. What keeps you going during that? What keeps the belief going that this is going to happen?
Really just, the dream when I was a kid, wanted to play college football. Got here, and it took me a long time to play college football, obviously, but the goal was to play, and so I wasn't going to give up on the goal.
And in training camp, there started to be, in some of the scrimmages, you started to stand out a little bit. When did you start to feel like, there's maybe a role for me on this football team?
I always felt that I could have a role on this team ever since I've been here. But really, I'd say just this fall camp, because this was the first camp that I've played all the way through, really, since my freshman year. And so getting in the rotation, I'd say this year, this fall camp, really made me believe that I could play.
Anything else? Thanks, Ward.